Hey everybody, this is Kogi from creativekogi.com and welcome to week 5 of the Impi Aneesa Mandala Kel. We are now working on part 2, which is the corners, because we are going to square off this mandala and create a blanket. So let's get started. Okay, so last week we placed our stitch markers in each of our 4 corners, and that is the center point of your corner. But you are actually not going to start there. You're going to start in the second stitch from the corner. So you count 1, 2, and that is your starting point. And you're now going to work a standing single crochet in that stitch. There you go, a standing single crochet. And your next stitch is actually then worked in the stitch that your marker is placed into. Okay, so row 1 is now complete. To help you find your starting point, you can use your stitch markers if you want to, but it is fairly simple and it is consistent throughout the rows, and it's essentially starting in the 4th stitch from the first stitch on the previous round, and that's to the right of the first stitch. So standing single crochet in that first stitch, and then a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There we go, 3, and that's worked on your mandala round, so round 47 of your mandala. Now a single crochet into that first stitch from the previous row, and now a single crochet into each of those 9 double crochets. There we go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and you're now left with that last single crochet from the previous row, and you work a single crochet into that stitch, and now a single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And you will see that I'm working over the yarn here because it is lighter than the current yarn that I'm using, and then I know that it won't really show through. But please be careful, if you're using vibrant colors, then rather not work over the yarn, because the last thing you want is for that to show through. And there you have it. Row 2 is now complete. Round 2 is now complete, and we've got ends to stitch away, but I'm going to do that at the end. As before, count 4 stitches to the right of that starting point. That's 3, 4, and I'm going to work a standing single crochet into this stitch. And now a single crochet into each of the next 2 and 3 stitches, and that is on your round 47 of the mandala. Now you work on the previous row, and we are going to work a single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, and you'll see I pull that knot of the standing single crochet to the back of my work just to make sure that it is neater. So there we go. Now you're going to work around the post of the double crochet stitch from your your row 1. I keep saying round, it's actually row because we're going side to side. You will work a back post single crochet around each of these stitches. I'm not going to continue with every single stitch. I just wanted to actually show you the starting point, but there you have it. You can follow the pattern for the rest of it, and I'll see you on the next round. The row. There we go. We are now on row 4, and as before, your starting point is 4 stitches to the right of that starting stitch from the previous row. Okay, there you go, and you will start with a standing single crochet in this stitch, and then a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And it's deliberately done this way to just help you along and to make sure that you don't get confused. It's very simple. Just follow the pattern as it is, and I will see you then on the next row. And before I go, I must just tell you quickly that I have to give credit on this particular row to Kim. I'd kept the stitches sort of fairly consistent with how we had done it on the mandala, and Kim had worked into the back post stitch and not actually into the single crochet stitch from the round before that, and that error actually turned out to be a really good feature of the pattern. So thank you, Kim. Okay, so there you have it. We're now on row 5. Oh, listen to me wanting to say round. And again, count your 4 stitches to the right of that starting point of the previous row, and you will work your standing single crochet into this stitch. And now a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 2 and 3. And there we go. Now you will work a single crochet into each of the next 6, and again you can see me pulling that knot to the back so it lies in the back and it's neater. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. You will now chain 1 and skip the next stitch. And in that half double crochet V-stitch that we worked in the previous round, we are going to work a DC 2 together cluster. There you go. And chain 1 and DC 2 together cluster in the same V-stitch, chain 1 and a DC 2 together cluster. If I can get that right. Oopsie, there we go. And chain 1. And you've got your 3 DC2 together clusters, and you will now skip the next stitch. There we go, we're skipping that stitch, and in the next stitch, we're going to work a single crochet, and then there you go. So that's single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches, actually. And there you have it. And now at the top of that little wave, you are now going to work 3 single crochets into that stitch. And as for the rest of it, follow the pattern and I will see you on the next row. Row 6. Again, your starting point is to the right of that first stitch from the previous row, and you count your 4 stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are now going to work a standing half double crochet into that stitch. And I'm quite excited because single crochets are my least favorite stitches. I much prefer half double crochet or a double crochet. So half double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and that's on the round 47 of the mandala. And now again I'm pulling that knot to the back, the knot from my starting stitch, and 1 half double crochet then in each of the next 10 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And there you have it. What you will do now is skip that first chain 1 space. Okay? And you will now work a front post. So there you go. Front post half double crochet around that double crochet 2 together cluster. A single crochet in the chain 1 space, and now a front post half double crochet around the cluster, and then a single crochet in the chain one space and that front post half double crochet. And there you have it. It now just makes us to just pop. We're going to skip that next chain one space and you will work a half double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. Okay, there we have it. So we've worked 7 half double crochets, which brings us then to the center of that 3 single crochets that we worked on the previous round. Okay, so we're going to skip that first stitch, and in that second single crochet, we are going to start our corner, which is 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and 2 half double crochets. And there you have it. We've now commenced with that corner, and you're now just going to mirror exactly the same stitches on the other side of that row. And then I'll see you on the 7th row. So before we start row 7, I've decided that I've actually made the error of saying round instead of row so many times in this video that I'm actually going to give away a free pattern to the person who can get the count correct. So just drop me an email or you can comment in the link to the video when I post it on the Facebook group and how many times you've heard me say round. And to the first person who gets it correct, or if I'm feeling generous, the first few people, I'm going to send you a free pattern because I've really messed it up and I've gotten it so confused. And we are actually working in rows and not in the round because we're going from side to side and we're not actually completing a round. So there you have it. Count the number of times I've said round in this video when I should not have, and I'm going to give you a freebie. Okay, so to the actual row 7, after that, let's hope I don't say round again. This is the fairly simple row. You will count 4 stitches to the right of that starting first stitch and work a standing half double crochet in this stitch. There you have it. And now a half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches from the round 47 of your mandala. There you have it. And then you're going to work 1 half double crochet, and you can see me pulling that knot to the back again so that it lies in the back. You will work a half double crochet in each of the next 28 stitches until you get to the corner. And it's super simple. It's probably the easiest row. So I'm going to let you get on with it and I will see you on the final row. So we are now on the final row of the first corner, and that's row 8. And you'll see that in the pattern I give you quite a lot of detail. And it is deliberate because there's a lot happening in this row. There's a lot of different stitches. We're working between the rows, and I just wanted to spell everything out quite clearly to you. I'm not going to give you a full-on video. I had indicated previously that I tried to just focus on the starting points or the key stitches because this is after all a paid cal, and you really need to buy the pattern if you want to work with me. So at this point, what I wanted to show you on this row is the stitch markers and why it's important to have your stitch marked. And you'll see that your final back post double crochet is actually worked into that stitch that your marker is placed into. And if you count from your chain to corner space, that stitch marker was placed in the 8th stitch to the right of the corner space, and then that is where your last back post double crochet will sit. Now you'll see me counting the stitches below it, so that's row 6 now. So we're now going to work in row 6, and we're working on that 5 stitches that is to the right of the chain 2 corner space on row 6, and we are working a front post treble into these stitches, and you'll see me um, sort of um, carrying the yarn sort of widely over. There you go, just so that I don't catch the previous row as I'm doing this stitch. So it's 5 front post treble stitches, and there's my last front post treble, which is actually in that corner, in that in the corner stitch actually from row 6. So there you have it. So I've got 5 front post treble, and it just creates such a nice effect. And now a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and now we're going to work our corner, which is 2 half double crochets, chain 2 and 2 half double crochets, and there you have it. Now this hidden stitch that I talk about, we often don't see it because it really is hidden. So I just want to show you quickly using my needle. It is that stitch that is immediately to the left of the chain 2 space, and it's often, as we're working the corner, we often work over it. So don't skip that hidden stitch, work into it. So that's a half double crochet in the next 2, and now we're going to go to round. We are going to go into row 6 and work 5 front post treble stitches. And this is now the first 5 stitches that is immediately to the left of the chain 2 space on row 6. There you go, that's my second one. I've got it right this time. And 3 and 4 and my last one, which is 5. And now the first back post double crochet is going to be worked in that stitch that your marker's in. So the reason why it's important to have the marker there is you don't have to flip it around and try and count those stitches. You just basically work the first stitch around that post. There you go. And yeah, that's it. And you continue with the pattern, and you have now, when this is done, you would have completed your first corner, and you will now have to work another 3 corners in exactly the same way. And I will see you next week when we are going to start working in the round again, so I don't have to get confused between rows and rounds, and we start properly with our blanket. I hope you are having fun, and yeah, and it's been so amazing to see those mandalas, and thank you so much for taking this journey with me. I'd love to see how many of you continue to the end of the cowl and have your blankets all done. So I'm just going to keep going, and yeah, let you catch up, and I will see you next week. And that's it from me. Goodbye for now.